We live in an age where mental challenges are just as intense as physical ones. Anxiety, information overload, and the constant need for validation create fertile ground for sleepless nights and emotionally draining days. This is where Stoicism reemerges, not just as comfort, but as direction. The power of Stoicism in the face of modern struggles lies in its practical simplicity. It doesn't promise to eliminate suffering, it transforms how we respond to it. Rather than resisting the chaos of life, the Stoic learns to navigate it with clarity, acceptance, and purpose. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, he wasn't in a peaceful retreat or a quiet study. He was surrounded by war, disease, and political pressure. And yet, in the midst of that, he took time to reflect on virtue, emotional control, and the value of the present moment. That's the strength of Stoicism. It doesn't ask you to escape life, it teaches you how to face it. This perspective is especially transformative when applied to today's world. You might not be able to control the job market, other people's reactions, or the endless news cycle, but you can always choose how to respond. And in that choice, you find freedom. Stoicism, far from being cold or detached, is deeply human. It acknowledges pain, embraces suffering, and offers something revolutionary. Even in the middle of the storm, you can find peace, not by conquering the world outside, but by mastering the world within. Adversity is often painted as the enemy, something to avoid, escape, or suppress. But from a Stoic perspective, adversity is not the enemy, it's the catalyst. Life will, without a doubt, throw challenges your way. Heartbreak, failure, uncertainty, loss. And in those moments, it's easy to fall into despair or ask, why me? But the Stoics offer a different question. What can this teach me? Imagine a blacksmith shaping a blade. The raw metal is subjected to fire and hammering, processes that seem destructive from the outside. Yet each strike, each moment of heat is what gives the blade its strength, sharpness, and form. The same is true for us. Difficulties are not detours, they are part of the path. They shape our character, expose our weaknesses, and refine our inner strength. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This isn't just poetic, it's a practical truth. The struggles you face today may be the very moments that prepare you for the opportunities of tomorrow. But only if you choose to learn from them. It's not about romanticizing suffering or pretending everything happens for a reason. It's about choosing how to respond when hardship knocks at your door. Will you let it break you, or will you let it build you? Adversity, approached with a Stoic mindset, becomes not something to fear but something to engage with. An invitation to grow, adapt, and transform. So the next time life feels like it's against you, remember, the flame that seems to consume, you may be the same one forging you into something stronger. In a world that constantly urges us to seek validation, chase success, and fear stillness, cultivating inner strength might feel like a quiet rebellion. But for the Stoics, it is the very foundation of a resilient life. Inner strength isn't loud. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It's the quiet steadiness that remains when everything else feels like it's falling apart. Stoicism teaches that while we can't control external events, other people's opinions, the economy, the randomness of life, we can control our inner world, our thoughts, our responses, our values. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." That truth is liberating. It means strength is always within reach, not something granted by circumstances, but something chosen, moment by moment. This kind of strength shows up in the small, often unseen choices, choosing patience over anger, acceptance over resistance, calm over chaos. It's waking up on a difficult day and showing up anyway. It's saying no when it would be easier to go along. It's reminding yourself that your worth isn't tied to success or failure, but to how you carry yourself through both. And like any strength, it must be trained, through reflection, through discomfort, and through the discipline of returning to what truly matters. The storms of life won't stop coming, but with inner strength, You stop fearing the weather. You become the steady flame that doesn't flicker even when the winds rise. Patience is perhaps one of the most underrated strengths in today's fast-paced world. We're conditioned to expect instant results, immediate responses, overnight success, quick fixes. But Stoicism invites us to slow down, to recognize that real growth, healing, and transformation unfold over time. Patience isn't passive. It's an active, deliberate choice to trust the process, even when we can't yet see the outcome. Think of how a tree grows, slowly, silently, season by season. It doesn't rush to stretch its branches or force its fruit to ripen. It knows the value of time. In the same way, Stoics understand that life moves at its own pace, and often the most important things can't be rushed. Wisdom, maturity, forgiveness, self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Time is like a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and already carried past us. We can't control that current, but we can control how we move within it." Patience gives us the grace to wait without losing hope, to endure without growing bitter, to persist without demanding guarantees. This doesn't mean settling or giving up on goals. It means resisting the urge to force life to bend to our timeline. It means recognizing that some chapters need space to unfold, and some lessons need repetition before they're fully understood. When you feel frustration rising, when things aren't happening fast enough, remember that strength isn't just pushing forward. Sometimes it's standing still with purpose, trusting that what's meant for you is also making its way toward you. One of the most transformative principles in Stoicism is understanding what is and what is not within your control. It sounds simple, even obvious, but in practice, this insight can completely shift how we experience life. So much of our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our resistance to them, our frustration when people don't behave as we wish, when outcomes don't align with our hopes, when the world doesn't play by our rules. But here's the Stoic truth. You don't control the weather, other people's choices, the economy, or even the twists of fate that may come your way. What you do control, entirely, is how you respond. Epictetus said it best. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. When you embrace this mindset, a heavy weight lifts. You stop wasting energy on trying to fix the unfixable. You stop living in a constant state of reaction. Instead, you reclaim your power. You choose where your focus goes, on your thoughts, your actions, your integrity, your values. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or emotionally detached. It means channeling your energy wisely, refusing to be controlled by what you can't change. Imagine standing in a storm. You can't stop the rain, but you can put on a coat, find shelter, and choose your attitude. That's the essence of Stoicism. Not controlling life, but mastering your part in it. When you let go of the illusion of control, you gain something far more valuable: peace. Adversity can feel like a punishment, a setback, or even a sign that we're on the wrong path. But through the lens of Stoicism, it becomes something entirely different: a teacher, a forge, a mirror. Life's challenges aren't just obstacles. They're opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, more resilient. Just as a blacksmith uses fire and pressure to shape raw metal into a blade, adversity can refine us into something sharper and more enduring. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This isn't a romanticizing of suffering. It's a call to transform it. When we stop seeing hardship as something to avoid and start seeing it as part of the path, our entire experience changes. That difficult season, that failure, that painful loss, it might be the exact experience that teaches us courage, humility, patience, or strength. Of course, this mindset doesn't come easily. It requires reflection. It requires asking, what can I learn from this? How can I emerge better, not bitter? And it requires faith that even when the lesson isn't clear yet, it will reveal itself in time, if we stay open to it. The Stoics didn't seek out suffering, but they never shied away from it either. They understood that a good life isn't one without pain. It's one where pain has purpose, where even the heaviest trials become stepping stones to wisdom. So next time life tests you, don't just brace for the blow. Look for the lesson. You may find that your most difficult moments shape your most powerful strengths. Wisdom isn't just about knowledge. It's about the pursuit of understanding, and more importantly, the humility to keep seeking it. The Stoics believed that wisdom was a lifelong journey, not a destination you ever truly arrive at. Seneca beautifully captured this idea when he said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." In other words, there's no point in life where you stop growing, unless you choose to. Seeking wisdom means asking better questions, not pretending to have all the answers. It's being open to new perspectives, learning from both success and failure, and recognizing that even the most painful experiences can teach us something meaningful. Every moment, every interaction, every challenge, every quiet realization holds the potential to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world.